As I lay in my room, trying to drift into sleep, I noticed strange, shifting shadows dancing across the walls. At first, I thought it was just the moonlight playing tricks. But the shapes seemed to move with a life of their own. An eerie sensation crept over me, and I felt a chilling presence in the room. Suddenly, the shadows materialized into ghostly figures, whispering indistinguishable words that sent shivers down my spine. My heart pounded, and I tried to look away, but my eyes were fixated on the horrifying scene unfolding before me. The room grew colder as the figures drew closer, and I could feel their icy breath on my skin. Fear paralyzed me, rendering me unable to move or scream. In a desperate attempt to escape, I managed to roll off the bed, and as I hit the floor, the shadows vanished into thin air. Terrified, I hurried out of the room, vowing never to return. But even in the safety of another room, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, and the haunting shadows continued to torment my dreams. In the corner of my room, an old dusty doll sat on a shelf, staring at me with lifeless eyes. I had received it as an inheritance from a distant relative, and something about its expression unnerved me. I tried to ignore it, but it seemed to follow my every move with its hollow gaze. One night, as I lay awake, the room was plunged into darkness, and a soft, haunting giggle echoed through the silence. My heart raced as I scrambled for the light switch, but nothing happened. The doll's laughter grew louder, echoing in the room, and I felt an invisible force holding me in place. I called out for help, but my voice seemed to disappear into the void. Panic consumed me as the doll's eyes glowed a faint red, and it slowly floated off the shelf, inching closer to my paralyzed body. In that moment, I felt a chilling presence around me, as if I were surrounded by a malevolent force. I closed my eyes, trying to block out the terror, and when I finally mustered the courage to look, the doll was back on the shelf, motionless and lifeless once more. From that night on, I never drove on that highway again. The experience had changed me, reminding me that there are forces beyond our understanding lurking in the darkness. Some roads are better left unexplored, for they hold secrets that can shatter the boundaries between the living and the dead. One evening, as I was getting ready for bed, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the mirror, but there was something off about it. The reflection seemed distorted with an unsettling grin that I knew wasn't my own. Fear gripped me, and I quickly turned away, trying to convince myself it was just my imagination. Night after night, the same bizarre reflection greeted me in the mirror. It felt as though someone else was staring back at me, mocking me with their malevolent smile. My room became a place of dread, and I avoided the mirror at all costs. One fateful night, unable to resist the curiosity any longer, I forced myself to face the mirror. To my horror, the reflection reached out, as if trying to break through the glass. I stumbled backward, trying to escape, but the room seemed to shrink around me. The reflection stepped out of the mirror, and I found myself face to face with an eerie doppelganger. Its twisted grin widened, and it whispered dark secrets that sent chills down my spine. I tried to scream, but my voice was muted. As the night wore on, I felt my energy draining, as if the ghostly reflection was feeding off my fear. With one last surge of strength, I mustered the courage to shatter the mirror, and the room was engulfed in darkness. When morning came, the room was restored to its normal state, and the mirror was gone. But the haunting memory of the ghostly reflection stayed with me, a constant reminder of the horrors that lurked within my room.